Man, Rooster, it's got to be 5 o'clock somewhere. Welcome back, everybody.
Do you know that show?
Bishop
Rooster.
Today we're rolling the dice.
Rolling the dice, baby.
Hopefully hitting black.
I've always been terrible at gambling.
No? Really?
We, as a family, we used to always play blackjack as a kid, so I can play blackjack. But every time I've gone to the casino, I just fucking waste my $100, $200. But it's still fun. I've always had a good time. I mean, even when I would...
Well, it's the experience.
Exactly. It's like, as long as you're not there throwing down your life fucking savings.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Right? I was just talking to my friend about this story about him going, and there was this guy just feeding hundreds into the machine constantly for like an hour, just not even looking at the results, just continuing to feed. It's like...
Yeah, I learned a long time ago, and it's fun, and I can see why gambling itself is addictive.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of like chasing a high.
Yeah.
It's the unknown, but you think you could beat the game.
Right.
But yeah,
the house always wins.
The house has got your ass.
What are you doing?
That's why they're giving you free alcohol.
Right?
They're like, we'll numb the pain. We'll just numb the pain.
Going.
Just keep pulling that lever. Keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Right.
Now, I've got a similar story where years ago I went into a casino here locally, and I went for lunch. I literally went for lunch.
To the casino for lunch?
Oh yeah, man. Have you ever been to a casino buffet?
No.
Oh damn.
Then they bank?
Oh yeah. And back in the day when it was actually around $20 to actually eat whatever you wanted, that was the best value in anywhere.
Okay. So you're like, I'm literally just going there for some food.
Well, I'm coming down from my property up there in the mountains, and I decided I was going to stop for lunch. So I did, but kind of similar to what you're talking about. I walked into this casino that has the buffet during lunch and whatnot, and I'm talking on the phone. And this guy is sitting there, and he's got these, when you go to the casinos, they have the little player cards, and they're like little rewards cards, right?
Oh,
so you can put them into the machines, and every time you put money in, it gives you points, and
gotcha.
It's like King Supers on crack.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
But the point is that this guy had like 8 of them attached to him, like to his belt. Right, and he's going back and forth between these machines, and he's putting all this money in. So it's highly entertaining to me because I'm like, I've never seen somebody so fucking crazy that
I'm just gonna sit back and watch this for a minute.
I'm talking on the phone, and I put a $20 bill in to this machine I'm standing next to, and I just reach over and I hit max bet, and I'm not even paying attention, and I'm watching, and I'm talking on the phone, and I'm hitting the spin button. Next thing I know, goes off, right, and I'm like. And I'm looking over at this guy like, damn, did he win? And he's turning and he's looking at me because the machine I just hit it for $3,000.
Wow.
So it's
on your first couple of tries?
I was just hitting the button.
Wow.
Hitting the button.
$20.
So they came running over and they're like, how do you want to do this? And and I got paid out, and I told them I was there to have lunch. They caught my lunch, and I went and I had lunch, and I was like, that was a good lunch.
That was a good business. I think I might come back here.
I'm pretty sure that guy that was sitting there running between machines
had to be so mad.
Went home and just whipping the shit out of himself.
His children, probably.
Having his wife saying, that's it, I'm back in the bed. I'm out. I'm done.
Right, seriously.
I'm done.
If he wasn't fucking around going playing some Russian roulette with himself.
Oh,
God. This motherfucker was on a phone call, not even paying attention. My dad used to, I forget exactly who it was, I think it was like his uncle or something, but he was religious about going to the casino, and he'd figured out this system in his mind about how the machine works. So we would always come every week on a specific day and then watch the people run the machines for a little while until he would know when certain machines were about to hit. So he would go up, hit, win, and then immediately just cash out and leave. So my dad used to go to the casino and call this guy, and he'd be like, okay, go over to this machine, go 4 machines down and 1 up. Do you see this machine? What's it say? What's it go or whatever? And he'd be like, okay, it says this or whatever. And he goes, run it 2 times, and then on the 3rd time, it'll be a jackpot. So just bet minimum the first 2, and then max the 3rd time. My dad said it would always work.
Wow.
Every time he'd go in there and win, and then he'd be like, okay, where do I go next? And the guy would be like, now you leave.
Yeah,
It's like, you don't want people to catch on to your little scheme of figuring out how things work.
No.
Because once you beat the system, this casino will be sure to come bite your ass.
I mean, I had an uncle that he was a big old fat bastard, and his name was Bug. His name was Dave, but his nickname was Uncle Bug. And this guy ran card games, was a gambler to no end, right? And he was a guy you did not sit at the table with. I mean, you watch these poker tournaments on TV, and you watch how these guys are, they're so stoic, and can't fuck you. You go to a real poker game, and they're all staring each other down like, I'm about to rip your fucking nose off with my toes.
Really?
They don't give a shit. They don't care at all. And he would go in, and he would always clean up. In fact, when he was alive and he was in his prime, I mean, he was comped in Vegas so many times. He was listed as a whale at one point. And he would come in, and he'd bring his own money, but the casinos would always give him money to play with. And I've never really understood that concept.
That's what I was going to say. Why do they comp people who are good at winning and taking the casino's money?
I think it's the psychology fact is that they think that they'll make you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And that you're going to bet. And
maybe it's like over the long run, you'll end up losing more than...
You gotta.
Yeah.
But he taught me how to play blackjack. He taught me how to play 5-card. He taught me how to play Baccarat. And Baccarat was my game when I actually used to like to go to the casino. But you could only really find that game in Las Vegas.
I was like, what the fuck is Baccarat?
Well, it's a crazy game. But I will tell you, that for anybody out there that wants to know, when you go and you play that game, the only thing you need to realize is that when you walk up to a table, if there's not 5 Pacific Asian people already sitting, trying to be PC here, goddammit.
That was like nicely done. Nicely executed.
Already sitting at the table, you don't sit at that table.
Why?
And if you have the option to sit at the very end, you sit at the very end. And when you sit at the very end, because it moves as you are the dealer, it goes from right to left.
Okay.
And if you are on the last chair and you have Pacific Asian people sitting there, you just play what they play.
Wow.
Because it's one of the only games they actually give you a cheat sheet. It's a mathematical equation. And these fuckers have figured that shit out.
You don't know about Asian people.
That's where the abacus came from. That's how our U.S. budget's being handled right now. But you sit there and you just play what they play. You play the majority. If the majority of them are playing the player and not the bank, right? You play the player. If they're playing the bank, you play the bank. And I would say 8 to 9 times out of 10, you're hitting.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're hitting.
You just following old Luke Kim over there.
Yeah. And at some point, you'll have multiple people looking over at you like, you fucking asshole. We're doing all the work, and you're just taking the cake.
That's hilarious.
It does pay.
So multiple people can win?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because in the game, you can either be the player or the bank. Right? It's kind of like playing blackjack. Only the only difference is that you have the option, if you're on the dealer side, which is the bank side, you can actually be part of the bank.
Oh, okay.
Right? Instead of just being the player.
Gotcha.
So it's a weird game, but we don't have time to go into it. But that's it. You sit down and you have 2 options. And that's not the 2 options you're looking at. You're looking at the other option sitting at the table.
So is everyone's cards just like out in the open, or are you like...
No, they're out in the open.
Okay.
They're displayed.
Yeah, okay.
And it's kind of like, it's chasing an 8. Chasing a natural 8.
Oh, okay.
And you see it, and just look it up.
I'm going to have to. I have no fucking idea.
Just look it up. But, I mean, casinos are fun. The whole myth about, and it's not really a myth, back in the day when you could actually smoke in a casino.
I know, yeah, on the floor,
right?
yeah.
And people are like, oh, they're pumping oxygen in to keep you awake. Well, yes, they are, but they're also doing it because, like 400 packs of cigarettes are being smoked a minute.
Yeah. And they're selling the cigarettes.
And they're not serving you the best booze when you go in there.
But you said they're giving it to you for free?
you do get free alcohol, but unless you tell the waitress specifically what you want, they're just bringing you what they consider a well drink or a draft beer.
Okay.
Right? But if you tell her what you want, it's still free, but you better tip her.
Yeah.
Okay?
Makes sense. My dad would always fucking do that at casinos. Every time he'd win big, he'd be like, all right, here's fucking $200 just to the dealer. Because appreciate you.
Yeah. Thanks for sweating it out.
Right? Yeah, I'd like to get a little more experience gambling for sure, because I've only been actually to a casino and gambled once, and all I did was sit at a blackjack table and then play slot machines. So
yeah, I mean, 9 times out of 10, that's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you better be a player. If you want to go in, you want to learn how to play cards and, blackjack, poker, whatever variation that is. Roulette, I will not step on a roulette table.
Makes sense. It's like impossible to fucking win.
I mean, I've got friends that have whole methods to it.
Really?
Yeah, and they're like, okay, well, if you do this and do this and do this and do this, and it doesn't work, then then you got to do this and do this and do this, and I'm like, I'm not fucking square dancing here.
For rolling a fucking marble and just being a chance of hitting a number, it's like
I'm not square dancing.
Right.
I'm not doing it.
I do love those videos though online when people are like, put their entire life savings on one fucking number and it goes, and the whole fucking casino erupts. And
yeah, because I mean, if there was a game of chance, it's roulette.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Right, and then those individuals that walk in and they're on dire straits.
Yeah,
they're like, "That's it right there," and they're like, "Are you sure?" That's it right there. And the next thing you know, they hit a $500,000 jackpot because the odds of that hitting are just ridiculous.
Right, but for every one of those, there's got to be hundreds of people,
thousands,
spit away their whole life savings.
Thousands.
Like, come on, 32 black.
You're going to see the food bank at the church because you can't buy shit.
Jesus. Yeah, that'd be terrible. Yep, let us know your favorite gambling stories if you guys got any exciting tales.
Yep.
Don't forget to subscribe. I think that might be the first time I've ever said that. Follow us on Rumble. Do it. Maybe we can start making a little bit of money doing this.
We're a little slow on the Rumble upload, but we're catching up.
Yeah, we're trying to backlog all of our videos.
We're catching up. But we do appreciate your patience. But
unless the next round is on you, we gotta go.
Yeah, you got $5 I can spare.
Cheers, guys. That does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to, that show.